Okay, now we're going to hand out the diplomas. Can I have a couple of staffers to help me out, counselors? You can just help me out passing these out, just so for time constraints here. Okay, first person. Now, please, you should frame these, put them in a scrapbook, because you're going to look at these years later and say you have some very great fond memories, I hope. I hate to see these downstairs all crumpled up. So please, a lot of effort went into put these together. Mrs. Harper spent a lot of time doing this.
And so did Mr. Affleck.
Yeah, Mr. Affleck. So please respect this. All right, anyway, first person is Andrew Affleck. Congratulations. Lydia Black. Courtney Bond. Sierra Bonds. James Bonds, no, I'm kidding. Jacob Brown. Julie Britt. Christian Burke. Levi Keverly. Levi, where are you? The winning pitcher, too, by the way, is this, even though I did get 3 strikeouts, but Audrey Clark. Terry Clark. Marcus Craft. Luke Duffley, I think he left Thursday, right?
Yes.
So, you know him, right? So why don't you give it to him?
I will.
Campbell Egan. Camille. I'll pronounce your name one of these days. Grace Peretti. Matthew Peretti. Zach Peretti. Vanessa Gill. Cecilia Gilbert. Colette Gerard, which also Dominic Gerard. Right there. Madeline Gerard. Trevor Hayes. Trevor. Jamie Hazelray. Jerome Hazelray. Sebastian Hazelray. What a Hazelray. Samuel Hector. Forrest Irvin. Sophia Irvin. Dave Caleb. Gracie Caleb. Andrew Kiernan.
Andrew.
Nick Kiernan. Patty Kiernan. Zach Ricardo. Zach Ricardo. Oh, sorry, he went to Sarah Moon. Harley Myers. Alex Pike. I thought you were a horse. If there's a picture of you on Facebook, it's a horse, so. Stephen Pike. Where are you from, brother? Caleb Quintanilla. Caleb. Gabriel Quintanilla. Okay. Madeline Rice. Matthew Rice. Emily Rooney. Megan Rakicki. Christina Shurtleff. Lucas Smith. Michael Smith. Chris Taylor. In black, Peter Williams. All right. Now, these are the people that help make this camp possible, and every year I miss a name, but I think I got them all. Okay, so the first name here is Mr. Everett, who's not here. He left Saturday. He left yesterday to actually this morning to fly back with his wife. Mr. Everett is the one that is the camp manager. He makes sure all the applications are taken in and all the books are balanced. So let's give him a warm hand, even though he's not here. Mrs. Hopper, let me just, back in 2000, I think it was 2000 when I got to know her. I used to travel out to Grand Rapids, and we started a camp in Ohio. It was under a different entity in those days. And she said, if you need me, I'll be there. I said, I need you. And I've needed her every year since then. And I think 3 years in a row, you did 2 camps. And one back-to-back camps. I mean, from leaving Saturday morning or Sunday morning, driving to Illinois and doing it all over again. So just give her a very, very warm hand for her dedication. Mr. Tregenza, who left a little early, but he's been a big help to Mrs. Tregenza. I first met this man at a camp in 1990, and he told me he's been doing, I think, at that point for 15 years. And I don't think we could be nearly successful without him, Mr. John Hederney. I think this next person I dragged, we were dating at the time, and I don't even think I don't think we even engaged. And she came down to a camp in Pennsylvania, and I think in 1993, I think she was with child here at camp, the first one here. And it's been a wonderful journey, but Mrs. Shurtleff, my beloved bride. And Campbell's mom, Mrs. Egan, who has been a big help to the camp the last 4 or 5 years, I believe. So give her a nice big hand, please. Mrs. Rokicki, who we sort of drafted to be a counselor this year, we need a counselor. Okay, I'll do it. Miss Mazzarella, is she in the? She was a camper for many years and now a counselor, and boy, that ballroom dancing is pretty special, huh? She's just incredible. Mrs. Curry, we were friends on Facebook, and I think it was the Article 5 issue that sort of got us, and then she heard about the camps from Facebook, and she said, I'd like to come, can I bring a friend? And I said, oh yeah, you can come, so please acknowledge yourself, and is she here? Oh, there she is. Thank you. And Mr. Curry, they drove all the way to southwestern Indiana. I mean, people complain that they have to go to Boston. That's a long haul. And I hope you can come back. I hope you really enjoyed it. And we love that drawl that you have. It's wonderful. Miss Kalis, she was another person that we had to draft as a counselor. Mr. Puck the Elder, now he wears a lot of hats here. He's a counselor, he's an instructor, and he's a campfire director. And he's also been, since day one, he's been a big help. He and his family have been an enormous help. Another family that's been a big help, and they can all live in New Jersey, is the Kiernan family. And Mr. Kiernan, please stand up he's been a counselor for the last couple of years. Oh, you go? Okay. All right. Well, tell him we very much greatly appreciate his efforts. Then there's young Mr. Pike, but he's still tall. Why don't you acknowledge yourself? He was also drafted as a... and then a younger version of myself, Mr. Nathaniel Shurtleff, who's, I think, his second year as a counselor. And then there's young Villaniscus, who did a fine job as a counselor this year. Where is he? Yeah, that's right. And there's one reason why someone scored well on the test, because he didn't take it, because he was always the top scorer, right? Mr. RJ, who was his first camp, and this poor fellow got in a car accident, and he had to rent a van, so he was a little bit late, but we do appreciate his coming all the way from central New York to come to his first camp. And then there's Mr. Hale, who had been a camper for a number of years, and he did a phenomenal class on the Revolutionary War. I was very impressed. He wanted an hour and a half, and I said, you got to see the that one. He did a great job. And everything makes this camp special. It's not one thing, but it's all the things working together, and sometimes they don't always work as well as we like. The camp newspapers, I think, a very important part of the camp. And Mr. Mark Affleck took that job, and he did a phenomenal job. The paper. I'm going to show you what he did on the, but he has been year-round. He helps the camp constitution. So it's not, we don't just show up the day at camp and everything's ready. You have to prepare it year-round. And I'm going to discuss a little bit what he's done. Then there's our camp doctor. He's out, he's going to a church service, so he should be back soon. Dr. Long, we'll give him a hand and he'll hear it all. He took us over to the private range, and I think those that went to the, who had a good time on the range? Oh, home on the range, right? And by the way, if you went on the range, the man who owns the property, we want to send him a little picture of the camp and a thank you, so please give yourself the time to do that. Okay, then of course it's our camp nurse. I think she's been here, I don't know, since 2010 maybe, Mrs. Donna Rice. So, now, another thing, like I said earlier, in order to make this, we have to have a lot of different talented people in the staff. We have to have a lifeguard, and boy, 2 weeks before camp, I couldn't find any. And thanks to my daughter, Christina, oh, I have a friend, Emily Rooney. So she was grateful. Please stand up, and we really appreciate it. I think since maybe, I don't know, it was 2000 or somewhere around there, maybe earlier. He's Mr. Vito Villaniscus. He fried chickens on him after the meeting. Anyway, Mr. Wallace, who's, I don't know if he's a pastor, so he had to leave. But Mr. Wallace, not only did he help out with the morning, the Patriot class, he gave several classes, campfire, and sort of all-around help. So just give him a warm hand. Let him know we really appreciate it. And there's another man I want to thank, another guy with a DR in front of his name. And I got to know him early this year, and we've become close friends. And he gave a wonderful class. And to learn more about him, there's a copy of a magazine on there about his ordeal. If you didn't sit in his class, it'd be interesting to learn more. That's Dr. Kishore. Oh, great. Okay, excellent. Okay. Now, if we had a camp and nobody saw the videos or the pictures, did we really hold a camp? Well, that's why we need to document what we do here. And I asked Mr. Melfa here if he would, I know he does a lot of this. He travels around New England states and New York doing a lot of videotaping. And you see this guy, he's been like that the whole week. You know? Where's my Wi-Fi? I want to upload. He's been doing live feeds. He's been doing short clips. Amazing work, and I really appreciate him. So let's give him a very good hand. And then it would be Camp Constitution without Reverend Stevie Kraft. And it really would be Camp Constitution without his lovely wife, Mrs. Kraft. So let's give her a hand. And he's not here, but we had 3 classes, important topics, on sound money, on the UN, and what was the 3rd class? Conspiracy. But perhaps the most qualified person to give that, give those classes, Mr. John McMahon. We had a very talented artist come and give us a class, and I tell you, a lot of the people were really overwhelmed by his information and really appreciated that. Boy, we got doctors and we've got artists. Well, what a talented bunch we have here, huh? How did I end up among you guys? That would be Mr. Inbretson. He's not here, but we're going to send him a picture too. Oh, I also want to mention, of course, Mrs. Chrisanne Hall. This is her 3rd year And she really loves this camp. She brings her son Colton. And before she left, we did the Constitution song, and she did a live feed, and I think she said she got 54,000 views. That means the word's getting out. We may have to, we really have to expand this program. Then, of course, there was Mrs. Wilder. She was there for about a day and a half to help out with Mrs. Kraft, and she did a really good job. She sort of just, hey, I'm taking over for the day, give you a little rest, right? And she's with the Daughters of the American Revolution, and we might get some, who knows, we might get some support from those good ladies there. And then there's my good and dear friend, Mr. Kalis, who comes all the way from the Detroit area with his family, and they bring campers. He's the rec director, he helps out at Campfire, and he taught a great class too. Mr. Everett, by the way, Mr. Everett's sort of, if he likes your class, you're in, brother. And he likes your class. Mr. Tom Moore, we met last night. Campfire wouldn't be the same without his guitar and his singing. So, and he gave 2 classes too. So let's give him a nice warm hand, Mr. Moore. And I say the best because he's a close friend and a colleague, and we travel around New England. Somebody wrote a poem about us, traveling around, stopping Darrell 5 conventions around New England and New York. And Mr. McGonigal gave a great class, and he's been a big help with the camp newspaper and and other issues. So let's give him a big warm hand too, Mr. McGonigal. And he's not here, but we're also going to send him a photo. And he was so overwhelmed by the hospitality. He's going back to Virginia to say, there's something special going on up there in New Hampton. That would be Reverend Van Blurk. And I also want to thank, last year at the homeschool show, the Mass Hope show, there was a lovely family came by the table, really interested in the camp. They lived in Lynn, and I was hoping to come last year, but I got a call from Mr. Irwin. He says, can we come this year? I says, absolutely. Can we bring some friends? Oh yeah. So I want to thank you too for coming, and I hope next year you come and be in some kind of counselorship position, and well, you know, if it works out, see how we recruit people into this stuff. And no, I hope that I get everybody. I got everybody. Who? I said Mrs. Harper. I think
Mr. Shurtleff.
Oh, that guy. Okay, now, we mentioned the orientation that every year we choose a super camper. We choose a young lady and a young man. We also have runners-up, and we will list those that were nominated. And we look for those who are involved in the all-around program. You don't have to be the fastest runner. You don't have to be the best swimmer. You don't have to be the most gifted athlete or the smartest. And I'm going to read. I need a drum roll, please. No, we got a real drum this time. Wait a minute. There we go. Okay. All right. So and by the way, they're chosen by the counselors. We usually start Wednesday, and then Saturday we take our vote. And this morning we took our vote. So those that were nominated: Zach Mercado, Dominic Gerard, Michael Smith. And you know, I have to put a special place for Michael Smith. Mike is one of our top tech guys, and I tell you, when things aren't always, especially when you're building like this, a lot of people here, the wireless isn't always the greatest connection, and things go wrong with technology all the time. He was just a great guy. This is his 3rd year doing this, and someone suggested we give him an award for impersonating a counselor. So I just I really appreciate him. He said to me, he said, Mr. Shurtleff, do you need me? I said, of course I need you. I just don't need you right this minute, but of course I need you. Then there's Gabe Kalis. And then Zach Ferretti. It looks like the Zacks have a monopoly on this year. Okay, so now we need a drum roll to announce the runner-up. Runner-up is Zach Mercado. And now let me suggest that the winner gets a tuition at Camp Constitution free for next year, or they can give it to somebody else if they're not able to make it or what have you. And they also get camp t-shirts, some books on the table, and the runner-up will get some books and some t-shirts as well. So the winner is, drum roll, Dominic Gerard. Okay, now for the girls. Thank you. That's a good drum roll. I like that. Can you do attack on the drum roll?
What?
Can you do attack? Can you beat it? You know how to do that? Okay. All right. How about formation? No. Okay. All right. So Campbell Egan, Gracie Kalis, Lydia Black, Paulette Gerard, Audrey Clark, Emily Shurtleff, Kate Clark, Madeline Rice, and Madeline Gerard. And the runners-up, we actually chose two. That would be Madeline and Gracie Kalis. Madeline Gerard and Gracie Kalis. You come on up. Over there, congratulations, ladies. Now the winner. Campbell Egan. Wait a minute, you get one of these fancy, and you can take the fancy bag home with you afterwards. One of these nice little trophies. That will probably be, it'll be in her room next year on display, I bet, right? Now, this was not my idea. I would never name a trophy after me. I think it was Mr. Pike, Mr. Kalis, and a few others had collaborated to do this. And I was the first recipient in 2010. You know, a lot of people have athletes have bobbleheads, you know. They're on t-shirts, but I don't think too many get their own trophy. And a trophy named after Conn Smythe, maybe, you know. That's about it. How many trophies? But Heisman Trophy, but the Hal Shurtleff Trophy. So this is for the counselors choose the staff, the person that they think was the best staff person that year. And I want to, we're going to, we need a drum roll. Mrs. Kraft. Kraft is saying, Hallie, we don't have any room to bring any costumes back. You're going to have to make room for that one.
That's all right.
All right.
It's not fair to be crying in front of the whole.
That's okay. We're all sentimental softies. I didn't get down
So
here.
much.
Okay, do I have my computer, Mr. Smith, so I don't have my laptop here, so I just need to, okay, now, I just wanted to show up. Okay, what is this up here?
The website.
What website?
Camp Constitution.
How many people go to this website?
Lots of people.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I know you do because your dad's always on it. Okay, now, I just want to show a few things. The camp blog, can you, oh, you know, I thought it was somewhere else. I mean, yeah, okay. All right, the camp blog is something, we're able to write articles on a regular basis. And we've had a few campers, Campbell Egan, Dominic, Mr. McGonigal writes things. I post things on occasions, but we like to have articles of maybe on special holidays, you know, a historic event, maybe a battle of Trenton if you're from New Jersey. So we love you to write articles for this. And some people actually have the passwords to get in. If you don't, send me an email, you know, have it edited, and we'll post it on there. So, and the more people that read the articles in our blog, more people are going to know about our camp and know about the other things we do. Okay, then we have, I'm not going to go through all of them, we have the camp sponsors. No, that's not camp sponsors. Here we go, camp sponsors. Now the camp sponsors are those who have, if you participate in our camp and you have a business, we want to put you up there as a camp sponsor. There's no charge. We do have some people that provide services, internet, you know, the website, web provider, people who make banners for us, you know, they're up there, and some folks who help us financially. And so we consider, and you know, there's no reason, there's nothing stopping you from maybe getting some people you know as camp sponsors. See? Then there is, I want to go to the Sam Blumenfeld collection. I want to talk about this. I am so pleased by what some of you may remember Sam Blumenfeld. He was an instructor here. He loved this camp. And he just enjoyed the fellowship. He taught some classes. He died last June at the age of 89. He died the day after his birthday. And I was blessed to inherit his library. It wasn't for me to keep in my barn and my, you know, it was to get out to the world, okay? And one of his most important things he did was create something called Alpha Phonics Workbook, where he taught people how to read, 4 generations, and there's going to be many generations to come, how to read properly. He learned about this problem back in the late 50s. I've got correspondence for all these top educators and Mr. Blumenfeld, and we actually, thanks to Mr. Bill McNally, and we spent 6 months going through his 200 plus boxes. And he had to go through each little folder because you found gems. I found his mother's wedding ring in a little folder. You know, wow, I gave it to his, I found some recordings he made in the 50s with his parents, and I got up to his niece, and thanks to Mark, we put him on a disc. The niece called me up crying. I'd never heard my grandparents' voice until now, you know. So, but we have the Alpha Phonics along with 128 lessons, video and audio. So people can learn how to read on our website, free of charge. And he also, he wrote a lot of things, and we still have a lot more to put up there. Audio. He made speeches. He was talking about these problems back in the 60s and 70s. There's about 180 audios. See, I'm thinking of doing something called the Daily Sam. Camp Constitution Principle, the Daily Sam, where we write a little link one of the articles, and link one of the videos, the DVDs, audios. That would require help. I couldn't do it every single day. So that would be something, a wonderful tribute, but also the next generations to know about this important work. Then we have the affiliations. Now, Mr. Blumenfeld, he was the founder of American Friends of Algeria. And he has these top officials, and I have the correspondence. Am I blocking it out? Oh, you just can't, you can't. He also was the American Friends of Katanga. If you learned about the UN, you learned that this province of Katanga was, they had seceded from the Belgian Congo, from what is now Zaire, because you had a communist in there. And here is this wonderful man, Moshe Shombe, who was a great leader. And because there was uranium in his province, the UN went in there, bombed, murdered, and Sam he was so obsessed by this, and he ended up meeting Moshe Shombe, interviewed him in Spain, in Madrid, Spain, in 1964. I actually have the notebook where he's asking the questions, and I have some of their correspondence, both in French and English, and many, many other important documents and things. So, and this is all, I'm thinking, I'll put this on scrib.com. Mr. Affleck got it up on our website, and he just needs an incredible hand, because he worked hours and hours to do it. Okay, so we've announced next year's dates, July 2nd to the 8th. Now, July 4th falls there, right? Falls in, it's in the middle of the week. We had no other option because both ends are booked. I think we can make it work. I think we'll do something very special for July 4th. There's fireworks around, and we can't bring them here. We might bring some horses. We may have a big pig roast. We'll be thinking about it, and we'll, soon. We won't tell you a day before. So I know that some people have plans, but you get your calendar out now, and you book that week for Camp Constitution before football camp and dance camp and this camp and that camp, you see, because this is important. What we do here is vitally important.